How's it going, everybody? And thank you for joining us on today's episode of Ask Your Local Electrician. I'm Brandon with Electrical Specialist, and today we're going to be going into part 3 of our 4-part series on what's involved in an electrical inspection when buying or selling a home. So today we're going to get started on a topic that's going to be a big part of these inspections: panels and wiring. So when we're going to take a look at the panel, let's just go ahead and get in front of our panel and look at something as simple as the name brand. What is the name brand? Is it Square D? Is it Murray? Is it Siemens? Is it Cutler Hammer? There's all kinds of different brands. Really, we're just going to be looking for what we don't want it to be honest. Those are the only ones that are really going to find yourself on a list of panels that need to be recalled, replaced. Let's just dive into that. So the two we're really going to be concerned about are Zinsco panels and Federal Pacific panels. I'm sure a lot of you have heard these before, whether it's from your realtor or not, but these panels are notorious for catching homes on fire. So obviously we want to get them out of there. In fact, a lot of insurance companies won't even insure you if this panel is in your home. The next thing we're going to talk about is panel location. So the panel can go a lot of places in your home. It's kind of a misconception that there's only a few places it can go. It can go just about anywhere as long as we meet clearance issues, which we'll get into in a minute. But let's just quickly go over the places it cannot be where it will need moved. So it's pretty simple. It can't go in a clothes closet. And that's because there's highly combustible material in there. And we know, grandma's going to stack her hats up or something like that. We just can't allow it to be in a place where we know we're going to stack stuff up. The second thing is going to be countertops. Sure, it can be in the kitchen, no problem. It just can't be on the countertop due to clearance issues. Can't be in a bathroom. That's a pretty obvious one. It can't be over or on steps. The only way it can be around steps is if you have a nice landing about halfway down where you've got plenty of room to work on it. It's advised not to put it there, but in certain situations, that might be the only place. So it can go there, but let's try not to put it on the steps. The last part we're going to talk about here is panel clearance. So all these issues we just talked about in locations, it's really because of clearance issues. There has to be at least 36 inches and directly in front of the panel of open, free, and clear space. So what does that mean? That means, I've heard an easy way to talk about it is pretend everyone knows about the size of a refrigerator. Shove that imaginary refrigerator in front of your panel and there can't be anything in there. There can't be shelves, there can't be boxes, there can't be baskets of laundry, there can't be anything built in there like shelving or anything like that. There can't be water pipes, there can't be drain lines. Anything has to be free and clear, 36 inches straight out, and the width of the panel straight up and down floor to ceiling. Now let's talk about wiring. So we're standing at our panel still. Let's look around the panel. Hopefully it's an unfinished area so you can see the wiring going in and out of it. Let's focus on the wire that goes out to feed the home. There's only a few kinds of wiring that we need to be concerned about. If it's the yellow and white Romex from the 1980s on, more than likely you're good. It's nothing to worry about. If it's anything older, let's talk about that now. Obviously, the first one we're going to talk about is knob and tube. So if you don't know what knob and tube is, it's on insulators. It's single-stranded wire. It was the first wire they put into homes. It looks like this. Now it runs around usually your open basement. You'll be able to see it rather obviously. It looks different. It's very skinny. It's ran separately about a foot apart. Now when we see this, we're going to know, first of all, it's an ungrounded system. It shares neutrals. It has brittle insulation. You cannot legally insulate around it because of the insulation. And the insurance may not cover you if it's in your home. So all those things are kind of something we have to deal with if we find knob and tube. Let's move on to the next kind, rag cloth wire. So rag cloth wire is the next installation of wire after knob and tube. They try to solve some of these issues with the insulation and such, but when we see that, we still know a few things, which are, it's better insulated, but it's still not grounded, most of it. They did make a rag cloth wire insulation that had the grounding in it, but it was the first attempt at grounding and they undersized it, so it's actually not quite legal either. The last one we're going to talk about is aluminum wiring. I think we all know what aluminum looks like, but here's a good look of it if you haven't seen it before. Now, Aluminum came in because there was a high demand for copper, as you can imagine. We're wiring the entire United States with it, and it became very expensive. So they decided to try aluminum. Well, after not very long, from the 1960s to early 1970s, they found out all the shortcomings of it. It's very brittle, it breaks, it corrodes easy, it actually becomes a fire hazard in your home. So they made it illegal. We don't want to see that anymore. So if we do see aluminum in your panel, we're going to be slightly concerned. We're going to put that on a list to look at. Now, just to be clear, you're probably going to have aluminum feeding the panel and possibly aluminum feeding another panel. It's okay if it's a feeder for a service, but just not going out to feed your plugs or your lights or anything like that. Hey everybody, thanks for watching, hanging out with us. If you have any more questions or if you want to know more about any of these subjects we cover, go to our website at www.especialists.pro. There's tons of stuff on there to get you through it.